to my channel. My name's Melissa and I'm the maker behind Embee Makes here on YouTube, on Ravelry and on Instagram. If you've been here before, you've probably watched my podcast episodes, and from time to time I also like to do a little pattern roundup. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. I have a roundup of some beautiful colorwork sweaters that have inspired me over the past few months. I've saved them on my Instagram and on my Ravelry. I've created a bundle for you, which I will link below. And yeah, these are all different kinds of constructions. There are drop shoulders, raglan and round yoke sweaters. And yeah, I have my laptop down here to give you some more information about each of the patterns. And there is one of this list that I already have yarn for, so I'll talk about that also. But yeah, I'm not wearing a hand knit sweater today, but this is a colorwork sweater that I bought in the store last year, and I really like the look of this, and I hope to someday be able to knit something like this. But yeah, this winter I will knit my very first colorwork yoke sweater. So let's first start with some drop shoulder patterns. And the first one that I found is a free pattern even, so that's nice if you're a new knitter and want to use a free pattern. The first one is the Pippi pullover. It's by Leah, and as I said, it's a free pattern. It sadly only comes in one size, but I think this is just someone who put her notes into a little document and made it available for everyone. I've not actually looked at the pattern yet, but it's a very simple color work that I think if you have another drop shoulder pattern that you like, you could maybe implement the color work from this into that sweater. If this is not your size, I think the finished garment is 116 centimeters. So I think for me this could actually work. Also maybe depending on your gauge you can create a bigger or smaller size. But this sweater is knitted with a worsted weight yarn, Dererum Natura Gilead and Filcolana Peruvian. I've worked with Gilead before and I love that yarn, so if I knit this sweater I might use that yarn. Or the Filcolana Peruvian, I have a few skeins in my stash for a hat. So if I like to work with that yarn, I could also maybe use it for this sweater. Yeah, if I knit this sweater, I will make it in the same colors, the red and the blue and the neutral background. Because yeah, that's the vibe, the Pippi from Pippi Longstocking, I think it's called in English. Yeah, it's very well known, that design. So you use a 5mm needle, and the pattern is available in English as well as in German. So yeah, a free pattern, and there's a lot of projects actually you can check out. Most of them use the same colors. The second drop shoulder pattern I have here is the Jeju sweater by Agio Knit. I've actually never knit a pattern by this designer, but I've seen a few on Instagram, and yeah, they look really nice, and I do want to knit something by this designer. And I think this one will definitely go on my list. It's a DK weight sweater, I think. You knit it on 4 and 3mm needles. It's only available in 5 sizes, so it's not really size inclusive. But it is quite an oversized sweater. The sweater is worked with 2 strands of yarn held together, so a fingering and a mohair. which I think is a quite common combination. Or you can, of course, replace it by just a DK weight. It's a 21 stitch gauge, and they suggest also to go up a half or whole needle size for the color work, which I think is something I need to do, because when I knit color work for socks, I also go up a half needle size to make sure it's stretchy enough, definitely for socks. And what I like about this one is that you can either knit it with a dark background and light color work, or the other way around, or like only with lighter colors for less contrast. But I think if I were to knit this, I would go for high contrast because I really want this color work to show. And I actually really like the sample of the dark gray with the light beige color work. And yeah, I don't think it looks too difficult. It's also just on the part below where you connect in the round, so it's all knit in the round. Whereas I think with the previous one and some other ones, the color work is also knit flat, which is a bit more difficult. So yeah, the Jiju sweater. The next one is the porcelain sweater by Le Knit or Lene Holm Samsu. So this one you do have to knit some color work flat at the top part here, since it's a drop shoulder. And yeah, I love this. When I saw this, I immediately put it on my to knit list. I want to make it in these colors, like the light background color and the blue, to really resemble porcelain. This is knit using, again, fingering weight and a mohair, and it's again a 21 stitch gauge. This one comes in 6 sizes, going from an extra small to a 3XL. I've knit patterns from Le Knit before. I've knit her Dahlia, Chunky Dahlia sweater, and I'm still working on my peacock tee. But her patterns are very clear, and I think, yeah, this will be a super special sweater to have in my wardrobe. Something that makes people wonder if it's store-bought. But then, yeah, being able to say, oh no, I hand knit this, yeah, is super nice. And then the last drop shoulder colorwork sweater is the notebook sweater by Odd Row. I've never knit from this designer before, but I saw this one on Instagram and I put it in my saved posts. And yeah, it's again knit with a fingering and mohair, I think, or 2 strands of mohair. Yeah, you hold 2 strands together. Here they recommend the Alpaca 2 by Isager with the strand of silk mohair, or with the Alpaca 1. So yeah, 2 strands together for around a DK weight. And this is 23 stitches, so it's a bit smaller gauge. It comes from sizes extra small to 3XL and is available in English and Danish. This pattern was published in February of this year, and it only has 1 project on Ravelry, but I've seen a few on Instagram, if you check the hashtag. And yeah, I really love the look of this design. I think it would be pretty simple color work to knit, easy to remember, but it looks quite special. If I were to knit this, I'm not sure exactly which color I would go for. I do like the colors of the sample, but I think, yeah, the pink is not really a color that I would wear. Maybe I would go for a green and a beige maybe, or a darker green, lighter green, or something with purple. If you see my podcasts, you know I love green and purple. So that's it for the drop shoulder sweaters. Then I also have a few Raglan designs. And the first one is another one by Lenit. It's also from February this year. Quite a few of the sweaters I have here are recent designs. And so this one is again with DK weight, yarn, 21 stitches per 10 centimeters. You use a variety of needle sizes from a 2.5 to a 4.5 millimeter. So the sweater is worked from the top down, starting with the neckline, and then you knit short rows. And then after the short rows, you do the Raglan increases and the color work on the yoke. I really like the style of this sweater. I would knit it in different colors. These are, not really my style, I think. I would again maybe go for a green and a beige or white, or some more fall colors like a burnt orange with a burgundy and then a neutral beige. I think would be really nice as well. Or like maybe a dark blue and a chartreuse green as the contrast colors on a beige background, I think would look great as well. As this is a slightly more rustic looking sweater, more outdoor, I think I would use a more rustic yarn, like maybe a Peer Gynt from Sandnes Garn, I think would be great for this sweater. I've not worked with the recommended Isager Jensen before, but I felt it in the yarn store and it is very rustic to me. So I would like something a little less rustic. So I think, Peer Gynt I think would be a great alternative. The next colorwork sweater on my list is the Norma sweater. This is a design by my favorite things knitwear. It uses again 2 strands of yarn, a mohair and a lace weight, a mohair and a fingering weight. The gauge for this sweater is 19 stitches per 10 centimeters and you use a 3, 4 and 5 millimeter needle. These are more like colorwork bands, so it kind of looks like a striped sweater but with a little extra touch of a very simple colorwork. I think if I were to knit this, I wouldn't knit the high neck. I would do a folded collar because I think it's just more wearable for me. But I like the oversized look. And of course the color work, I again would probably do something with green, maybe on a darker background or a dark green as the background and then cream and a lighter green for the color work, I think would also be nice. I do have some yarn in stash, maybe that could work for this, but I would need some other colors to knit this sweater. Then the next one I have is really a showstopper that again I saw on Instagram and I immediately saved the post. And it's the Wave Sweater by Spectacle Strik. This one is knit in Rauma Vams and Permin Bella. I've not used any of these yarns before, but it's in an Aran weight. It's 16 stitches per 10 centimeters and it's available in only 4 sizes, so again not very size inclusive, but it is a quite oversized sweater. I think the issue with color work is that you can't always grade it possibly to larger sizes, well, depending on the kind of color work, to get like full repeats and everything. But I'm not a knitwear designer, so I don't know. But you do have a bust from 105 to 155 centimeters because of positive ease on this sweater. I love the color of the sample. I have some yarn in stash from another sweater left over, my sweater number 1 from my favorite things knitwear. That is the green chartreuse color. that I think would be a great contrast color for this. And I think I might have enough. I just need to find, yeah, maybe a similar purple so that I can, yeah, knit this sweater in these colors, because I do think, yeah, it looks amazing and I would really like it in this color. I think it would look good on me. And yeah, purple and green in one sweater, my two favorite colors. That would be really nice. Then we move on to round yoke sweaters. And the first one is one by Petite Knit. This one was quite popular last year around this time, because yeah, it's when it was released in October 2023. And yeah, it's always been a bit on my radar, but I wasn't sure if it was something for me. It's knit in a DK weight yarn. It uses Peer Gynt. It's again 20 stitches per 10 centimeters. And yeah, this is very size inclusive. It comes from an extra extra small to 5XL. And I know she also has some matching mittens. So you can, when you have leftovers from the sweater, you can knit matching mittens, which I think is really cute. I like the version of the neutral as a main color, and then some colorful colors for the yoke. Maybe I would go for a more neutral monochromatic color scheme, so like all greens maybe, or all purples for the yoke, I think would be nice. Yeah, I think if I were to knit this sweater, I would really have to think about a specific color palette that I want. And again, for this one, I might do a folded neck instead of the turtleneck. But that's just personal preference. There are a lot of beautiful projects on Ravelry and Instagram to look at for color inspiration, so that's probably what I would do first before looking into buying yarn for this sweater. But it's definitely something I want to knit someday. The next one is another DK weight round yoke sweater. And this one came out in April of this year, and it's the Polypody sweater DK by Krupa Knits. She has quite a few colorwork designs for socks and hats and sweaters. And I haven't knit anything by her before. But I'm really curious to try and maybe knit this sweater someday. I think it's quite simple color work, but yeah, still looks very nice. I could definitely see myself wearing this to work, or yeah, on a nice walk. And yeah, since it's in DK weight yarn, you could use Drops Charisma, Filcolana Peruvian. She has her own yarn as well, the Gabo Wool Krupa Wool, which is, I think, a collaboration between her and Gabo Wool. I have used Gabo Wool before, the brushed alpaca for my sweater number 1 and my Maria cardigan. So yeah, I really like that yarn from them. So yeah, I might buy that specific yarn when I knit this sweater. And this sweater also comes in a thinner version, the regular Polypody sweater, which is just in fingering weight yarn. But I think, yeah, if I were to knit a colorwork sweater, I'd want it in at least a DK weight. And it comes from sizes extra small to 5XL, so it's size inclusive. And it has 2.5 to 15 centimeters of positive ease. The next one on my list is the Tuku sweater by the Petite Knitter, which is not the same as Petite Knit, but the Petite Knitter. And she also has quite a lot of colorwork yoke sweaters in her Ravelry store. And this one is another DK weight sweater, 22 stitches per 10 centimeters. It comes in 10 different sizes. This is a pattern from September 2022, so not very recent, but it is a design that I really like. and it seems fairly simple. If you like round colorwork yoke sweaters, I think you will definitely like her designs. She also has some really nice ones with cats and with bunnies. Yeah, some very creative colorwork design yokes. Then another round yoke sweater which is pretty special, I think, and very unique. It's the Northern Augustins number 4 by Augustins. This is a new design from April this year, and it's knit with Knitting for Olive heavy merino and soft silk mohair, also by Knitting for Olive. So yeah, it's a DK weight with a lace weight held together. The gauge is 16 stitches for 10 centimeters, and it's knit on 6mm and 5mm needles. The cute bows definitely catch your eye when you look at this sweater. It's really like giving me Valentine vibes, I think. Would be a great sweater for Valentine or for Christmas. With the red bows, I think it looks really festive. It's definitely not an everyday sweater. I would see this more as a special occasion sweater. The sweater is available in 8 different sizes, ranging from an 80 centimeter to a 150 centimeter bust. And it has 20 centimeters of positive ease. So it's quite an oversized sweater on quite large needles, so I think it would go pretty fast to knit this. And yeah, it just looks super cute with these bows. I would definitely knit this for a special occasion. And then the last one, the one I have yarn for in my stash and that I want to knit this winter, is the Lume by Sari Nordlund. This is already a pattern from April 2021, so it's not very new anymore, but I still see a lot of people knit this one. It uses a worsted weight yarn, 18 stitches per 10 centimeters. It uses 4, 4.5 and 5mm needles. And it's available in a lot of different sizes, ranging from 80 to 160 centimeter bust, so very size inclusive. And it has an intended 5 to 7.5 centimeters of positive ease. The pattern is available in English and in Finnish. The sweater is named after the Finnish word for water lily, which is very visible in the design. These beautiful flowers and then some other smaller leaves and stuff I think look really beautiful on the sweater. There's also colorwork at the cuffs, which I'm not sure I will do yet, but I will definitely knit the full colorwork yoke of this one and then see if I would like some colorwork at the cuffs as well. The yarn recommended here in the pattern is Cascade 220 yarn, but the yarn that I bought is some Dererum Natura Gilead in this beautiful heather pink. Is there a name? The name of the yarn is Bois de Rose, and this is beautiful yarn. So this is for my main color, and then for the contrast color I have this beige, and this one is called Biche. So this for the pink as the main color and then the beige as the color work. I think would make a lovely sweater. This color goes really great against my skin. This a bit less, but for the color work I think will be fine. There's definitely enough contrast here, and yeah, I can't wait to start this. I do have to clear off my needles first a bit more, and this will be something I cast on maybe in December or maybe around Christmas time to knit as my winter sweater. As this will be my first time knitting a colorwork sweater, I of course want to knit a swatch for this as well, so I will show it probably in my podcast episode. Be sure to subscribe if you don't want to miss out on those. And also follow me over on Instagram because I do share more regularly there in my stories what I'm working on and some behind the scenes. All the patterns I have talked about today will be in the Ravelry bundle, which I will link below. If you've knit any of these sweaters before, let me know down below how you like the pattern, which colors you use, which yarns. I'm very curious to know. And if you plan on knitting any of these this winter, if you want to knit along with me on the Lumi sweater maybe, be sure to send me a message or let me know down below and we can maybe create a little Instagram chat group. Yeah, I'm definitely open to some help or tips. I have knit colorwork on socks before and I'm now knitting a colorwork cowl. But yeah, a full sweater is definitely another level of knitting. But I'm very excited and eager to get started. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this roundup and got some good inspiration. And I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!